Well, Adam, how do you assess that overall? Obviously such a fast start for Hawthorn, but you did reel them in that second term.
Yeah, no, we did reel them in, but to give a team that's fighting for a finals position, and we knew that coming into the game that they would obviously set themselves for this, and it's going to be a really important game for them, and to just give up so many goals on turnover when we had opportunities to make them defend, and then just get dominated around clearance. I think one centre bounce was 8-1 against, which then just put us on the back foot. So, you look at it and you go, yep, the response is okay, but it's not that's not the standard. Like, you can't start an AFL game that way. I just felt like our response in the first quarter, or the adjustments we tried to make, were all trying to play faster rather than just play a bit more measured. So, we'll learn from that, but really disappointing start.
Is that the message to the group post-game, that it's rather disappointment rather than positive for the last 3 quarters?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, we can't, like I said, you can't give a team that sort of head start on all phases of the game and then expect to sort of reel them in. Like, they'll be too good for that. The comp's too close and too strong for that. So, bitterly disappointed with the way that we started, and we spoke about that post-game. There's one thing about responding, but there's 2 coming ready to play, and our players, or we didn't as a footy club, and we let our supporters down.
Is that a message particularly with your senior players, in terms of it's often the onus is on them to sort of settle things down, but it did feel in that first term like you played into their hands a lot? Yeah,
we did, and like I said, some of that is some of our inexperience. But when around the clearance, around centre bounce and clearance and scores from stoppage, that's like our leaders are in there, so they wore that. They understand that. With our ball use, we just played into the hands by playing really fast and missed opportunities. And the hardest thing with that is when you go that far behind on the scoreboard, is that you try to score every time you get the ball. So our execution in the next 3 quarters was a little bit scattered and a bit off, but it was all based on the way we started and put us way too far behind. So credit to the effort after quarter time, and the response was okay, but just the disappointing start was way too much to give.
Did it feel like that 50-metre penalty against Toby? Obviously fought so hard all game, but we were coming a bit in that third quarter, and then that 50-metre penalty happens, they kick a goal, and it felt like you never really got back into it per se.
I think that just gets highlighted and probably heightened by the fact that we were getting a game a bit more on our terms, and those things just get magnified based on the scoreboard. So, the response with our midfield crew in the second and third quarter around clearance and centre bounce especially, they responded the right way, and those things, like I said, just get magnified based on the fact that we were just way too far behind.
You think you used words come to play. What do you put that down to? Is it just the 2 end of the sort of spectrums and where the teams are going, or is it the length of the season, a bit of fatigue? What do you base it on?
There was a little bit of system and method. Like I said, we the minute they sort of went 3 or 4 goals up, we adjusted and wanted to slow the game down, but that didn't marry up with our stoppage structure and our mindset around that. So, we adjusted at quarter time when we could take a breath and obviously give them a bit of a spray. But, it wasn't the fact that we weren't trying at the start. It was just I thought we were just trying too hard, trying to play too fast, and it kind of played into Hawthorn's hands.
Shay it felt like was one of those players that settled you down. He kicked that settling goal start of the second, that smother and goal. Given there's been so much focus on him and his future, what did you make of how he performed today and how he's generally been able to front up?
Yeah, well, it's hard. It's a funny one. I spoke to him at half time, and his focus was around the way that we're moving the ball, but we just wanted to focus on our defence and our contest, and he laid a chase down tackle, kicked a goal, and then a smother and kicked 2 in the third quarter, all based on the back of his pressure and defence. So that's exactly what we want him to bring. We know what he can do with the ball, but the level that he provided on defence in that third quarter was exactly what we wanted, and they're putting a lot of time into him as well. If you look at our forward line, we've got a lot of young forwards. They must put his magnet there and put a circle around it, and really try to target him. So, credit to his second half. He really kept trying.
Bolter obviously started forward as well, was really quite a dominant in the air there, and then you had to move him back. Was that out of necessity, or?
Yeah, well, and the fact that we wanted to give Jacob Blight a game. He was in good form at VFL level. So it's hard to play all of those key backs against their forward line. Their forwards are really mobile and they play a bit of a smaller forward line. So, it was sort of twofold. We wanted a contest forward of the ball, which he did provide. He got some ruck work in the last quarter. I'll keep saying I'd love. We need two of him at the moment while we don't have McKelvey and Lynchy. But yeah, he kept toiling away and he'll do whatever we need.
Jack Graham, it might come under a bit of scrutiny. That high, it was sort of the late spoil with the 50-metre panel. Do you think he's got anything to worry about?
Yeah, it was a hard one. I think he was just contesting the ball and whether it was his arm or forearm or whatever that got him. I think the 50-metre penalty was against someone else for grabbing one of the other blokes around the head. So it wasn't a 50. I don't think they were going to pay it against Jack anyway. So yeah, it is what it is, and I think the guy kept playing, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow.
How do you handle this upcoming week? Obviously, last game of the season. There's Dustin's sort of farewell, and there's still so much focus around guys like Liam and Shay and Daniel in terms of their futures. How are you going to handle this week? Yeah,
well, it is going to be around that, celebrating. Obviously, one of our best. It's our last home game. We want to finish off the right way, all those sorts of things. But at the same time, our team's going to be different next year. Whether it is those players that you're talking about or the fact that we've got guys retiring and we've got to make some decisions on our list anyway. So it's always the same. Going into the last game, you want to do your supporters and our Tiger Army proud. But at the same time, we're going to have different players wearing the jumper the following season. So we want to finish off strongly and put on a really good performance for our supporters.
I know he's contracted. Is Shay one of those guys you're confident of keeping hold of?
As I've said all along, he's a contracted player. He's one of our best players, and right now he's got a long-term deal with our footy club. So until that changes, he's a required player.
How difficult is that aspect of the coaching side of things that you get asked at? Like, that's a sort of repeated sort of ask. I think you've been quite open about saying you'd hope that people would just tell you sort of early when they know, but how difficult is that aspect of coaching with just all that aside from the on-field part? Yeah,
no, like I said during the week, when we're talking about guys out of contract like Liam Baker and Jack Graham, I get it. But when we're talking about players that have got long-term deals that are contract to our footy club, that does get a little bit frustrating. So, like I said, Liam will make that decision. Jack Graham's got that decision. He's got a contract in front of them. They both have. They'll make that decision in due course. And like I said, the other two are contracted and required players at our footy club. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Any injuries today, or have you come out okay?
No. I think everyone got through. Kane McAuliffe hurt himself in the VFL, which is unfortunate. But yeah, we subbed out Matty Coulthard. Everyone was okay. So we just tried something different.
In previous seasons, you probably would have been finished by now. 1 week left. Have you noticed the sort of additional weeks for the season this year?
Well, it's just felt like a longer year based on the fact that we've been through a lot. Our players, I think I mentioned this last week as well, some of our younger players have played more footy than they would have normally if we had everyone available. So that can take its toll. But all in all, I think it's been a great season. There's still opportunity for teams to make the finals. The eight's not set yet. All those sorts of things makes it exciting for our supporters. And I haven't felt like the season's too long. The fact that we've just been dealing with a lot's made it feeling a little bit tight.
Thank you.
Thank you.